as traffic is picking up again. Um, to start with the Pledge of Allegiance and start with the agendas. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and thanks again for waiting. Just a couple of updates on the flooding after Hurricane Ida. I know that we had a few people here on the last meeting, very concerned, and they wanted us to do whatever we can possibly do to find solution for what happened. Many people, unfortunately, got flooded. We were able to bring in Congressman Swazi and other leaders in this area to come and see the places and see the damage with their own eyes and witness it. And I think after that, we were able to declare the area a disaster area, and we have a representative not from FEMA, who's SBA, who's going to speak today. But just before we start on that, I just wanted to bring you up to date with what we were able to accomplish in the past couple of weeks. We did have a meeting with our engineers, H2M, and discuss different options and different ways of doing it. Obviously, this was an unprecedented hurricane that brought in significant amount of rain in a very, very short period of time. And based on their assessment, even if we were going to build a new village or a town or a city, they would never calculate for such a rain in such a short period of time with the amount, and we would still be getting these kind of flooding regardless of the new if we had a new town or a village. The other issue is that there has been studies done, I think 20 or 30 years ago, and there are new studies that were done by the county a few years ago when they put in new drainage on Middle Neck Road to connect the villages, um, the drain from that area to through the county to the Yule Pond. There are a bunch of issues. One, we have to find out exact capacity of these pipes to see how much they can drain at any minute, and if we are going to be able to, if we do increase our capacity, if at the end of the road or at the end of the pipe, the pipe is large enough that it can handle more, or is it going to just bottleneck and everything's going to back up anyway? Also, because it drains on the Udall Pond, if you can show them where it is, the issue is that apparently the pond changes height with during different times, and that can actually create backup if and the water may not actually drain. So the decision was at that time for the for H2M to do a proper study and to compare the studies that were done by the county and the village a while ago to see what can be done. The other thing that we mentioned, and I think we mentioned it last time, was what the village itself can do as far as maybe changing the code for that area and allowing people to build higher, and that maybe we can help increase the value of those homes. So maybe those things can be done as well. So a comprehensive and multidisciplinary approach is being done, and we're going to look at this, and hopefully we can come up with some kind of an information by the next meeting. But as of now, I think we're still in the process of following the lead that they started and see where we go. With that, I want to invite, yeah, right. So H2M, when they're done, hopefully they told us that it takes them about a week or two to complete this study. So hopefully next time we will have the H2M to come here and explain their findings. Um, the representative from SBA is here. She's going to speak. Would like to step up to the podium for a few minutes just to tell us exactly what's going on and how they can help the residents.
Hello, hello. My name is Tahita Mateen, and I'm the Public Information Officer representing the Small Business Administration. First of all, thanks for having us. We are doing whatever we can to get out the information, making sure that residents know how they can apply for assistance. There's a couple of things that I want to reiterate for you. I sent Brian the information. There's some out there. If you have any questions or constituents have any, need any information, it is out there on the table. So the deadline is November 4th for people who suffered physical damages from the hurricane, flooding, to replace your real estate, your items in your home, things like that. Businesses of any size, renters, homeowners are all eligible for that physical assistance. That deadline is November 4th. FEMA has not, as of this time, we don't have an extension on that deadline. I know they just or they're maybe I shouldn't speak about that. Other counties are being added. So from right now, the deadline is November 4th for physical damages. Businesses, if they lost any economic injury losses due to the floods, like they had to close down for a couple days or a couple weeks or whatever, they have until June 6th of 2022. So they have a while for that. The DRC is open, so people can have in-person help instead of doing it online. If you want to talk to someone, a loan officer, they can help you in person. COVID-19 restrictions are in place at the center, and that's at the New Hyde Park at the Michael J. Tully Park, 1801 Evergreen Avenue. And I think that's about it. But one other thing is a lot of people during disasters don't always think it's just for businesses. We always say, of course, we are FEMA's counterpart. So register with FEMA first. Homeowners and renters, businesses can either come straight to SBA or they can register with FEMA first as well. FEMA sends us the referral, and then most people don't apply for a loan because they don't want a loan, but that is the only way that FEMA will then turn around and give them emergency help. So it's kind of like a cycle. Apply, register with FEMA. If FEMA says no, we don't have any, you don't qualify for FEMA help, you'll get a SBA letter. People apply for SBA or they don't apply for SBA, but that's the only way that FEMA will then turn around and give them emergency assistance is if they finish that cycle, so to speak. So,
What's the loan rate if they go
uh,
through SBA?
SBA's loan rates are
You have it here?
for home loans are 1.563%. The businesses are at 2.855%, and then the nonprofit organizations are at 2%. Churches, private organizations, and then the small agricultural cooperatives are a 2.855, the same as the businesses, and then the nonprofits, of course, is 2%. So, and those are over 30 years, fixed rates. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So, but
Do they check for credits or?
yes, they do. They do that. It is a loan, so they do the credit, repayment ability. It's several factors that they go through. So let's say if your credit is not that good, they use other factors to determine repayment ability. Look at your taxes and see if you do have the ability to pay that back. So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, but if you are referred, I just want to reiterate, go ahead and apply for the SBA loan. You can take it or not take it. That's another point that people think they have to take it. No, you have 6 months to say, okay, well, I do want the loan. So it's better to have the loan and not need it than to need it and not have it. The deadline is gone, and then we're just, so.
And the only way that they can actually get help from FEMA if they get rejected by SBA.
Yes, and that's, I mean, they can register with FEMA first. That's what we always say. If FEMA for some reason says, okay, well, we can't, we don't have any funds or, you don't qualify, then they'll send that person a letter through SBA, for SBA to apply for a SBA loan. And then some people are just like, no, I don't want a loan. So then they don't apply or they apply. But when they apply and finish that step, that's the only way that we'll circle them back around to FEMA. If they get denied for the loan, then FEMA will say, okay, well,
And SBA would only give funds to or loans to those individuals who have been directly impacted by Hurricane Ida.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. I mean, the COVID-19 disaster is still going on, but we're in the Ida right now. That's why I'm up here. I worked on COVID-19 for years, so whatever disaster is affecting those people, they would, you know,
So right now the disasters we're talking about is COVID and Ida.
Ida.
Ida only.
Yes.
Okay.
How, how
I
big are
did
the
that for a
loans?
year. So
What
say that
kind
one
of,
more time.
Mike is, yeah.
how big are the loans that SBA is giving? How's
That
that
really
cost?
depends. That I'm not a loan officer, so that really depends on each situation. So if I'm a business and I only made $30,000 that they can see that I can help pay back, then of course their loan is not going to be, up to that $2 million. It's not going to be close to that million. But they will loan business owners up to $2 million for physical damages, up to $2 million for the economic injury. Homeowners get up to $200,000 for real estate losses. Let's say you lost your home, your whole house, and then up to $40,000 for their, for their
Stuff.
car, or their refrigerator that they lost in a flood, or their personal property. So
Or 240 for a homeowner's is the max.
1.5% is pretty good.
yeah, yeah, up to yeah. So yeah. Well, thank
Well,
you.
all right. Thank you for coming.
Brian, I'll be in touch with you. Thank you.
All right. Brian, just make sure that we have some blurb on our website. I think, yeah, and I think they need to know about the rates. I mean, the rates of. I mean, listen, if they have to go anywhere, I mean, some people may just take advantage of it for. You know,
No, it's
it's,
enough.
and the rate now is not so high, but not. It's not one and a half. Right. So, as many of you have seen, we started doing some demos on Middle Neck Road. The trees have been removed, and we're waiting. And I believe tomorrow they will start removing the medians. This will take probably 2 or 3 days. I just want everyone to be aware. There will be probably closing part of the roads. They start from the northern side and they're going to south. Louis would be there just to make sure that everything's going well. And I'm hoping that the new, and again, I just want people to know that we're not going to start any planting process until the spring because I don't know when they're going to be done, and I don't want to start doing something in the trees or the plants die during the winter time. Um, so we have to hopefully wait a couple of months before we can start planting. Meanwhile, we're going to actually look at different options of what we're going to plant. It shouldn't be trees that become too wide and too high, and should also be salt resistant and drought resistant and all that other stuff. So if anybody would like to like to send um, some suggestions, we're willing to listen, obviously. So that will start tomorrow.
What kind of designs have you got for the medium?
Well,
Forget the plants, what kind?
right. So what we're going to do, what we are able to do with the county, was that we are going to remove what's there currently because, according to the current codes, the medians we have is not according to code. It's too high and it can cause other damages. So what county is going to do is going to give us two curbs on each side of the median, and the median is going to stay empty. As far as the design, we have time to design if we're going to have trees, bushes, concrete, bricks, stones, whatever that is, in different areas, we can break it up. So we have not done that yet, and that's not going to be done by the county. It's going to be done by us. What we needed to remove the trees, the bushes, and the railroad tiles, and the bricks that are there, and the dirt that is there. And they come in, they clean it up, and they put they're going to do the resurfacing of the road, put the asphalt, and put the curbs in order for us to use the median and design as we please. Obviously, they have to approve the median, what we put in there, so for its
And
safety.
why put the trees, why plant trees again? Why not put the trees on the sidewalks?
I
Because
didn't
you'll have
say
the same
right.
problem with the roots
So I
falling.
did not say that we're going to plant trees. I said we're going to look at to see if we're going to plant trees, bushes, or concrete. You also want to, make it in a way that it doesn't become very cold. Obviously, trees give some warmth. Many people like the trees. I like the trees, but we have to find the right size trees and the right plants. Um, we have time. I mean, listen, by the time they do this, we have 3 or 4 months to decide, maybe even more. They usually do the planting in April, March, April. Yeah,
Yeah, it's usually in the springtime.
right. So by then we have 4 or 5 months to decide what we're going to put in there. Yes, David.
Well, we do it twice a year. We do it in the spring and in the fall.
Right, but I mean, not in the winter. So, yeah.
You could go to some of the other towns and look to see what they have. They
We
have
have,
very low ones
right.
and
We
very
have
high.
actually when the county came here, we actually went over a bunch of different ones, and that's why we came up. Okay, do this, and then because again, they are on the clock in a way. We've been talking about this day 4 years now, 5 years that they're going to come and redo the Middle Neck Road. So now they're really here. We can't really delay them, and I was very happy to say that after discussing with county, they agreed to at least do the curbs, which originally we were going to do. So that is going to be a huge saving on our taxpayer, individuals in the village. So that is going to be significant. Also, we were able to get the trees and the railroad ties removed for a very reasonable amount. Yes, David.
I just wanted to advise you that the Park District has a person who's quite experienced and is in charge of all their trees.
Oh,
Right, I'm sure. I mean,
Willie McGurr.
Yeah.
right. We
And
have
I
not.
urge you, the village ought to discuss with him because he's made an inventory of the 8,000 trees that the Park District is responsible for.
Okay.
And he's knowledgeable of all the soil and all that. Unfortunately, he lives just slightly outside our village, but he's here, and I think he could be of great help to you.
I don't doubt that there are many individuals, the park district, and other people that are very knowledgeable. I'm not going to pat myself on the back that I am. I'm definitely not knowledgeable when it comes to trees, especially when it comes to trees for the Middle Neck Road, or any bushes or shrubberies. But I'm sure that we have plenty of time to find the right people and get the right design or the right planting. Obviously, as I have discussed with Louis also, one of the things that we were really missing, just because over time many of these outlets on Middle Neck Road got um, destroyed. I think one of the things I would like to do is to make sure that we have the outlets for the holidays to be able to put the proper lighting, and I think that is going to significantly enhance our Middle Neck Road in our village at least, because we are the only village that has the medians. It's going to significantly enhance it during the holidays. Not these holidays, this set of holidays, hopefully next year.
Are you going to close up some of those where the cars like to make the U-turns, the islands, so that
Well,
they
right.
walk
So I
across?
no, Okay, so you have to, again, it's a county road and the county decides. And the reason we have those things is because the emergency vehicles should be able to make those U-turns. It's not for people, we have that. Unfortunately, people do what the people do.
But we won't have any more of those orange stanchions.
Orange. I don't know what the county wants to do. We can discuss it with them. We can give suggestions, but I personally didn't like them. I think they're ugly, but county does what county does. We'll see what the county does. We definitely can tell them we don't like it. Yeah, right. I mean, maybe they can come up with something different. But for now, I think it's going to be they're going to do whatever they have to do, and I'm hoping that they're done by mid-November.
Next year.
Listen, every time I say it goes back 2 more weeks. So I just say mid-November, so hopefully we'll be done by then. All right. No questions on that. We'll go to Nassau County Police report.
The report is on the screen.
Any accidents on
Hampshire
and
no.
Middle Neck Road? No
Middle
more?
Neck Road.
No,
Baker.
no, Baker.
No.
No more?
Or on Forest and Hicks.
Yeah, Forest and Hicks hasn't been an accident for a while.
Thank God, for a long time since Louis put up the flashing stop signs.
So I don't know. Maybe we need more flashing stops.
Yeah.
Maybe people just stop by the flashing stop sign just to
Beacon
admire
Hill
the
in
light.
Hampshire, there is one.
What?
This is I believe before they put the.
August 6th.
The school had asked for some of the
think it's
That's
before
before.
that.
pedestrian signs.
Before?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's before.
Maybe, not sure.
Louis, when
School-
did you put when did you put those flashing stop signs in Hampshire?
About a month and a half ago,
Yeah, it was after.
It was right after the last accident.
So I guess the last accident was August 6th, because that's what you're.
So I see a lot of accidents. I remember from last time, East Shore and Vista.
It's still here.
What's the issue there? I know that there is Don Joe is around Vista.
Right, yep.
It's a corner.
That's how they do their business.
Is it? I mean,
There's no turn on red there, so from 7
so
to
I don't know
7,
what's
so
going on
I
there.
don't-
I don't know why we have. Is it because are there many cars double parking there? What's going
Well,
on?
for instance, here's one on August 10th. Somebody was backing out unsafely. So you've got a few businesses there with trucks and everything else coming in and out. So that's probably going to be more of the problem than people disregarding the sign. Is that
You
you've
have a
got-
lot of trucks that go in and out of
Feldman.
Feldman lumber.
And Don Jeff.
And a lot of times, from what I see anyway, a lot of times there's trucks parked in the middle of the road, either to get into one of the parking lots, the corner, every once in a while I see the cars, I guess they're the rental company that's in there. They'll stage a car out on the corner there to prep it up to get people, ready to get in the car and drive away. So there's a couple little things over there that.
So you see, I
law
have a
enforcement
bunch of
really
East
should-
Shore, East Shore Road Vista, East Shore Road Ravine, East Shore Road Ravine.
There's a lot of trucks that offload whatever it is. Sometimes they're offloading the cars down there.
By the way, this might tie into it, but only 12 moving violations were issued for the month of August. And I can assure you that of those 12, some of the traffic stops, people issued multiple summonses. So
Well, that means
those
peop-
12 summonses that were issued is probably 7, 8 cars, 9 cars that were pulled over.
70?
Seven traffic stops, and
So that means people are driving safely now,
yeah,
right? That's
I think any one of us here could give out 12 of them in a day. I mean, you can't pull up to a red light where somebody's not on their phone.
Yeah, I don't know if the school had reached out to you, but, the principal from this, I think it was senior high, asked me about the traffic circle and the flashing signs for the pedestrian signs. I thought it was better to put the flashing stop signs, but he was asking for the pedestrian flashing signs. I told him that you'd have to write to the mayor and the board.
I can ask that.
I know what you were gonna ask.
Huh? Yeah, I know. We'll have a meeting with them tomorrow, so we'll see. Um, Thursday, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we'll discuss it. I mean, listen, that area definitely needs to. We need to beef up the not security, but
You know,
safety. I
these
think
signs
that.
are not cheap. I think they're, if I remember, they're about 1,400 or 1,500 a sign.
Well, the problem is that letting all the the parents are dropping the kids off right there and it's causing this tremendous congestion. So it's not, a flashing sign isn't gonna do the trick. They have to change the rules about dropping the kids off.
You know, it's
Well,
better they dropping them off than
I
the kids
guess
are
it was
driving there.
2 years ago, I
Yeah.
did change the signs for drop-off points up there,
Yeah.
but doesn't
They
really.
ignore
It gets backed up, especially at the
Doesn't
beginning,
really seem to
beginning of the
help
school
much.
year, it backs up.
And not only did I do that, but I also put, more speed signs up in that whole area.
Mhm.
End speed signs, 20-mile-an-hour speed signs throughout the whole area up there.
I think we need to really invest on the speedometers. I have asked the county, and nothing came through. I mean, they promised me that, after I spoke to our representative, that we're going to get some. We haven't gotten any. And I think that really, I know for a fact that it does help because every time I'm driving on Middle Neck Road and I get to the one by,
In town.
yeah, by the plaza,
Yeah,
you
definitely do a brake
automatically
check.
you reduce your speed because many times we don't know how fast we're going, and I've seen multiple of those signs, different types, in different villages, and it really helps. So we may need to look into see how much they cost, and we may need to start getting some of those. Well, we can put one in Broca because that area people speed.
I have a bracket there that we used to, I had that one that I would be moving around, but
That the one that moves around. The problem is,
yeah,
just the
you
battery
really
dies after I
need
don't
the
know how
one
many hours.
with the, solar panel on
We
it.
need to do either solar panel. I've seen those, and I tell you, even if they are expensive, I think they really create significant amount of safety, especially around the school. So I think we should definitely look into it.
$5,000.
Well, I I think it's important to have.
And
And
two other signs that, that came up, well, one was the feeding of the cats and behind CVS, somebody stole the signs. That sign finally came back in.
now after 3 years.
Yeah, somebody stole the signs. The pole was there, but the signs were gone.
So what did it say? It says no, don't feed the cats.
Yeah, it said, feral cat area, don't feed the cats. So just to even find that sign was a little bit of a process in doing. So that finally came in, I put those signs back up. I don't know if you remember the autistic child
Right.
signs.
They
They
came?
came in also with the same order, but they came in as 12 by 18 signs, and they were supposed to be 18 by 24s. So I had to send them back, because the reality, you're not gonna see a 12 by 18 sign driving. A 12 by 18 is the size of a parking sign.
Yeah, that's too
So,
small. That really?
Yeah, they're small.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work out so
Yeah.
well.
How big are the stop signs?
They're
36?
30 by 30.
Or 30 by 30.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
They don't look that big.
It's perspective, because
So that's why
you're
I
on a
said
big wide street.
The autistic ones, I had to send them back, and
Yeah,
And
if
get the
if the
12
stop
by
signs are
18.
30 by 30, you definitely need something bigger. Okay.
I just didn't want you to think that I didn't put them up or that I blew them off,
Right.
but it was just a matter of getting them. Those signs were not so easy to order either, because there's so many different versions of them, and to get the specific wording that I did, I guess was somewhat of a special order.
Okay. So we wait for those to come in. But look into these. I think I know that there are. Let's see, maybe we can get some grants to if we can install a bunch of them because people do drive on East on not Steamboat Road. I'm sorry, Station Road, Brokaw, Middle Baker Hill Road, going down the hill. I don't. I think if I would clock them, I would clock them at 60 miles an hour. And no, and they don't have any respect for stop signs.
We also used to have the bracket at the beginning of the islands on Arundel and Middle Neck there. I had a bracket there for those some of those speed signs, and I had one down by Nirvana. There was one down there as well in front of 444 Middle Neck. Because like I said, that I only had I think one of those signs, but we used to rotate the thing around.
Right.
You only get a day or two out of the battery, and then that's it. It's done.
Yeah, that's the problem. The other thing is, I know we worked on Abraham on the letter that we were going to send to everybody about the common codes of the village that are well, sort of a welcome letter, but
We send it out to those houses or residents that they just moved in. If the mayor would like to send it to all the residents,
I think
we
we
could
should
do
send
that
it to all the residents, and we should have it on our website
on our
because
website.
a lot
Sure.
of people don't know, and I think that would save them a lot of headache.
Sure.
So instead of sending Steve after them, they come to Steve. Okay. Now that we're talking about this, as far as the sidewalks, how are we doing with sidewalk?
Letters still need to be sent. We haven't had a chance to get them out yet. We have a list compiled though. It's just
Yeah.
with all the holidays, I only have one secretary.
I know, but we don't have much left of the year to do this. I mean, it's October. I don't think we have about 6 weeks. Okay.
Hey, you're talking about the sidewalks too. I think that since you're having Middle Neck Road done, you might want to try and concentrate on getting some of these store owners to do the brick sidewalks out there. I mean, that's something that can get done well into November.
All right. So the issue I think is
There's a lot of patches out there that came with the work that they had already did with connecting the sewer or the water.
right.
whatever they
So
were
the
doing.
question is that I'm sure they're going to say who's responsible. Our sidewalk was okay. They came in, they fixed it, and they should have fixed the road. So
No, they did. They patched.
the patching is
they
not
patched
fixing,
it back.
right?
They restored it back to what it was, or better in some cases than what it was. But I mean, you can't go and tell the contractor to replace a 4x4 or 6x6 in brick when the rest of it is all done in cement. So now might be a good time.
Right. Also, I think you have to
Maybe
find
send a reminder to
right.
the stores.
If they're against the code, because I'm sure many of those cracks are now more than quarter of an inch difference, and it's a tripping hazard. So I think that's the time we probably just discuss it with them also.
And
Okay.
maybe we could just target, I'll just say for instance, between Hicks Lane and Beach Road, or Fairview Avenue, and kind of narrow it down, and instead of hitting everybody at the same time.
Right.
Just,
I think we should definitely. I agree that we should
because
start.
otherwise it's going to be pretty overwhelming anyway for the building department to go out there and chase these things to begin with anyway. But if you cut it into little segments, it might be a little bit
Right.
easier.
And also, if you send them a letter of what the requirements of a safe sidewalk is, they should be able to probably understand it, and I'm sure that they're going to come in and hopefully.
Maybe you could phrase it around, looking towards the spring of the year, that, maybe you can look and do your own inspections, and in the spring of the year, we're gonna be riding around and, inviting, violations or something. So that they know that they have a time frame to get some money together to do these sidewalks. Especially that the road and the islands and everything is gonna look new. It's the right time to do it.
I agree. All right, so let's see what we can do. All right, next. Any, okay, fine. She's on it, so we can do that, and then we get to the public hearing. Okay. New business, we have, Forest Lane resident, yes. Do we have pictures on this? Okay, you can come to the podium, please. Hi, how are you?
I've been living in this house for about
Just name and
Oh.
address, please, and let's see, make sure that we have the mic on.
It's Tanya Namdar,
Right.
18 Forest Lane.
Okay,
We've been living there for about 7, 8 years. We've never really had a problem with. It's a cul-de-sac and it's a very narrow street. And sometimes, whenever anybody in the street has guests over, they have to park at the end if they don't have room in their driveway. Our house particularly has a very narrow single car driveway with no garage. So now we have 4 cars which don't even fit there, but till now we had 3 cars and we'd have to stack them. And if we'd have guests, they'd have to park at the end. And everybody always has guests park at the end.
at the
Once-
end, meaning at the end of the cul-de-sac.
at the end of the cul-de-sac, which is actually a very big cul-de-sac, and you can still have big trucks turn in there when you're there. But now that we have 4 cars, we don't fit in my driveway, and my sons that are driving have been leaving their car at the end of the street because they leave at 7:45 in the morning for school, and even if my daughter's not home and she's in the city and they do park in the driveway and they're blocked in usually because they come home earlier than us, we can't all start moving our cars out, which is what I just had to leave to do also right now. We have to, whoever's on the outside has to move out, and then the other one has to move out to let the first car pull out, and then we have to pull in again. So to avoid that, sometimes one of us leaves the car at the end of the street. And now, it's never happened before, but now this past week, we started getting overnight tickets. It's $50. My daughter had
Overnight tickets?
overnight
overnight.
parking tickets from 3 to 6 a.m.
That's been,
Never
that
happened
hasn't
before.
changed, that hasn't changed, has it? It's been always there.
Yeah,
So-
so we never got it before. In fact, my daughter had 2 friends come over for lunch last Sunday at around like noon, and they both got $60 tickets. So I don't know how.
I don't know what the price of the tickets are.
They have
for
nowhere
overnight.
else to park. There's no parking on the whole street. So if anyone has guests over, I mean, I'm like feel embarrassed for
So
my.
where do you park? You park over there?
No, you see in the corner right there between the green and the fence, on the right-hand side. No, further to the right. Can I pull up to it? At the end on the left. Right at the end on the left in the corner. In the shade. The other houses have wider driveways.
Where is it again? Where is it that they park? On the fence?
Along the fence in the corner, it's like doesn't really take much space from that circle, but we don't have anywhere else to park. The other houses on that block have wider driveways that they could fit more cars or don't have to bother each other to pull in and out. We don't, for some reason.
Can you bring her house? Can I see the drive of her house?
A little more left. Can you move up? Can you keep going up? Okay, so this is the house. On the side of the house, you see that driveway? It's,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
Did you build that house?
no, we're renting it.
Well, I was going to say if you can widen your driveway, but I think they didn't leave any room.
We
to
can't widen it
driveway.
because the person that owns his home, that's his backyard on the left side, and there's brick, and the house on the right side, there's absolutely no
Right.
room to widen it, especially for a second car.
No, there's no parking overnight on the cul-de-sac.
You said on
No
a
parking
Sunday.
on the whole
There's no parking, like, sometimes if somebody's dropping something off to us, or
Oh,
they'll
there's no
pull up
parking because it's too
in front
narrow.
of the, can't even park in front of the house
too
because
narrow.
it closes half
It's
the
a one lane,
half the.
it's a one lane street.
It's a one-lane
It's
street.
a very narrow
I
two-lane
know, but if
street.
you park one car,
You can't.
do it.
Yes, a truck can't pass by, or it's very tight.
That's
It's
a
just
very,
difficult.
very
So
narrow
for
street.
my
Park at
family,
the
it's
bottom,
really
you
hard.
forget about turning the garbage truck around.
They
Right.
can turn around. They do because with our car at the end, they managed to, and a fire truck did too.
Right. Yeah, there's a sign. No, go back. That.
Where is it?
I don't know what that. I think that's a backyard to a house on the next
Yeah,
street,
that's
Franklin.
a sign.
Yeah.
Shows arrows both ways.
The house was fairly new, it was a subdivided lot.
No, no parking anytime on that side.
Yeah, this house, right?
Yeah, but I think is it arrow is both ways? I can't. Arrow is both. I mean that. I've been
How
through
wide is that lot?
road.
Is that a 50-foot lot? I mean,
That's
the house is built right onto the driveway.
yeah.
Not that wide.
I,
So what's
I
the
wouldn't wanna
width
drive in that
of
driveway.
that cul-de-sac at the end? You said it's
Very narrow.
50 something. No, no, I'm not talking about the street. I'm talking about the end when it
No,
gets
it's
wide.
much wider than 50. And one side is a home there, and that's.
Right. So the couple of things. One, I mean, I don't know how we can help you. I'm listening to you, and I feel bad that you have 4 cars and you have 3
Yeah.
rooms. But at the same time, parking a car, obviously, you can't park on the street. There's no room for any cars to even forget the trucks, even regular cars. If you park on the street, regular cars can't.
Not on the
pass.
street, on the end, on
No,
the
I'm
corner.
just saying, if you park here, you can't.
Yeah.
If you park at the end,
Yeah.
one, the village's code says that there's no parking between 3 to 6 a.m. all over. There's no exception to the rule. And for
Oh, a
us to
couple.
come in and say, sorry?
I said there are a couple of exceptions that are from
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Right, but
Right.
you know, to come and put an exception here, even if we could, means that you're allowed to park, but the fire code wouldn't allow you to park. So we can't really go and suspend the fire code, even if we could suspend the overnight parking. So there are a couple of issues. And you know what? I know that families grow, and you know there are needs for more cars, but I can't think of a way that we can safely do this without, you know, God forbid if there's fire or anything like that, to have the fire trucks not being able to get into where they have to get.
I don't know if this will make a difference, but actually the fire truck had to come to our house for a scare last week, and they did. The car was parked there, and they did manage to very easily turn.
I don't think it's very easy, but still. I mean, it's the fire the fire code says that the width of the road has to be a certain amount. And again, you have to realize if we start doing that, every other street's going to say we need to do this and we need to do that. I don't think we can start picking and choosing to see which one we can do. I mean,
So how do we avoid not getting a $50 ticket a few times a week? I don't have anywhere else to park.
I don't know the answer what you can do to not get a ticket. The there are no you cannot ask any of your neighbors if you can park in their parking. I mean, there are. Listen, I can tell you
Everybody
that my
has their
neighbors,
own family's cars.
right? My neighbors have asked when they had, you know, cars that were extra. They asked if they can park in my parking lot. I mean, not my driveway, and I, of course, said yes. And they parked their car for 2 weeks in my driveway, in and out. I didn't care because I have plenty of room for them to park.
There's 3 neighbors that have the double width, and they all have multiple cars, and I see them all using it all the time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I hear your dilemma, but I don't think there is much that we can do unless anyone in the, you guys have anything to say?
Is there a parking lot that nearby,
No.
across the street?
A
There's
parking
a
lot?
parking lot, yes, across the street on Little Neck.
I don't
No, the
think they
cross
wanna go
street
to
is,
park.
is Forest Row and there's
That's
no
far,
parking either.
Forest Lane is very far from.
Overnight parking? Overnight parking?
Yeah, but it's a walk, they have to walk
How
Yeah,
far?
5 minutes,
5 minutes?
four
Well,
minutes.
I mean, if there's an,
There is overnight parking available, for example, in front of 7-Eleven, a little further down.
right, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I mean, it's a walk, but you wouldn't have to worry about tickets.
I can't ask my
Or she
kids
get a
to do
permit
that all
for
the
the,
time.
no,
That's why you have parking signs.
oh, if you have one.
I mean, when people live in apartments, they park a couple blocks away.
Yeah, I did, that's an open driveway, that's the max limit. So it would be basically coming from the end of the cul-de-sac to Eller and then to Melnick Road. There are parking available all along Melnick Road, both side of the street. Overnight parking available on both sides.
In other words, even on the east side of Melnick Road.
Yes, on one side they
So
can park
that's-
on a Friday, on the other side on Mondays.
But that's closer if it's on the east side of Melnick Road.
I mean, we can't, in order, we cannot give, legally, we cannot give you a permit to park on the street. That's not possible to do. And also, legally, we can't remove the sign because it's against the recommendation of the state to have streets that are this narrow to have parking on one side. So legally, we're really bound with not being able to help you. Not because we don't want to. It's just not possible. And I think situations like this have risen before, and our recommendations have always been try to see if your neighbors are willing to allow you to park in their parking spot or driveway. And at times, for them to be able to park, few minutes walk. Listen, I used to live in the city. I used to park.
Or try to
far away.
reduce one car maybe in the family.
Right.
We can't.
I mean,
A big family.
yeah, I do too. I have 3 teenage kids, we have 2 cars. I mean,
No, we can't.
you do what you gotta do.
I don't know. I mean, I really can't think of anything. I mean, you can let us know if you can think of anything, and I'm sure we're going to think about if there's anything. Abraham and Brian, Louis, anybody can come up with anything, but it has to be something that is not going to create an illegal situation, and I think this would be not a proper thing to do.
What's not a proper thing to do?
Well, to
This
remove
is like
the
a
no
10-minute
parking
walk. You
signs,
can't.
to change that's Ellard? Yeah.
That's a car. Yeah, on this side of the street, the parking is allowed.
Currently, the only places that you have overnight parking is in front of the multi-dwellings, which is,
Across the street.
Millbrook.
Yeah.
These signs over here by
Academy.
Academy Apartments.
Right, but again, it becomes the other issues
That's
too.
not in front of our house. Like,
Even
you can't
Beach Road
keep
had
going
come to us
20-minute
for
walks
overnight
every time you want to come and go from
I
our
know
car.
it's a walk. It's not 20 minutes. It's really
It's like 5
5.
minutes.
20 minutes
It
is
would
a
only
long.
be one person. You wouldn't move
It
all
just
4
doesn't
cars,
seem
just
fair.
1 car.
To have to walk so far to park our car to go home. And then what if we have to go out again, come and go? Like, we all come and go. We have like a lot going on.
I hear you, but again, you have to realize that for us to remove no parking means that we're saying you're allowed to park illegally against the state code and state recommendations. And we can't do that anyway. I mean, we can, but then if anything happens, we're going to be responsible for it.
No, it's not just that.
So I don't think there
The
is
whole village is
anything. I think this is an option, and I would never. I can't really say it, but usually people that get a house, they need to have enough parking for their cars.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this has been. You're not the first one. I'm sure you're not going to be the last one. And always, our answer has been trying to help as much as possible. Giving them parking spots on our parking lots.
Is there anything that can be done to like at least waive our tickets if we have to park there sometimes?
How does that make sense?
I mean,
You can't do that. You can't waive tickets just because sometimes you have to park.
We don't fit in our driveway.
I understand, but you also have to understand that there's certain things we can do, certain things we can't do. And it's not that I don't want to do it, but you can't just waive parking tickets because we don't fit on the driveway. I'm going to park in the street and get a ticket, but you have to waive it. So pretty much I'm telling you is you can park there. And then if I do it for you, I have to do it for her. Then everyone's going to park in the street illegally. It's just not the right thing to do. It's not the right approach.
You can't waive the ticket anyway, the judge would have to.
Right, right.
Well, no, I meant like get some sort of a permission or something.
Is it possible for your landlord to make a parking spot in his property next to your driveway?
No, they had the retaining wall or the
On
garden
the left-hand
wall.
side, not your house side, there was something on
There's a-
his side?
I don't
It's
think
the
there was anything.
backyard of the neighbor.
It's
Yeah.
his backyard.
I mean, could-
Is it
could
the
you get-
landlord's
The
backyard?
land is just this big. I mean,
So
just-
he
No,
can
the
do
next door
something.
neighbor, your landlord has a whole backyard there.
He can do something.
If you could make
What is in the back of the house?
There's a big piece of land next to your house.
No,
next to
but
your
that's
driveway.
not.
Backyard, that's the backyard to the house on Franklin.
It's
No,
the
but
landlord
no,
house-
but
the
what is
landlord's
behind
house.
the house? What is behind the house?
Behind her house?
Yeah,
A patio,
Another
a very
house.
small patio.
there's no backyard.
Not really.
Floyd?
Can you find the house one more time? I think we have 2 more minutes.
The landlord lives on Franklin.
Which is here. You have two houses back to back, so
So that's the landlord,
subdivided.
and then the front one is the one that you're in.
No, the landlord is not right behind my house. The landlord is to the left,
I'm saying
on,
you can't-
further back. So his backyard is next to my house.
Can you
The
go?
landlord is just to the left of it. It's not directly behind it.
Where's the driveway?
It's hidden by the trees, but it's right where he's pointing.
You can't make a little spot over here, one spot over here next to your driveway.
Well, that would
It's
be the
not wide
landlord.
enough for a car. It's just a tree.
Can you just show me the front view?
It's impossibly tight, that driveway.
I know. I don't know if there's. Yeah, that.
It's there
It's
on
the one
the
on the
right.
right.
You've gotta move on.
To the right of her driveway is the retaining wall, so you'd have to do it to the left of the driveway, which is outside of the scope of her property line.
There's
which is
actually an
the-
But
electric
it's a
pole
landlord.
there
It's
also.
the
I don't
landlord's
even.
property. It's his backyard.
I would talk to that, he won't do it, right?
I don't know, but anything
No.
associated with cost, probably landlord doesn't wanna do it.
You
They
could offer
may,
to
they
pay
may
for it.
take the cost.
What if you offer to pay him to do it?
Listen,
I
really
Bart,
don't think
before
he-
you start saying all this stuff,
What?
he's going. They need to go to BZA
Oh, to take out the retaining wall?
to put
Oh.
a parking.
There's a setback. on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
front.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not.
I forgot, that's a backyard.
This is so tight. I didn't know that the house can go that close to the driveway.
Yeah, it's
Is
right
that
on the
the-
driveway. How do you open the wall? How do you open the car door?
It's very tight.
How long is your lease for?
We
Yeah,
just
I was going to
we
say
renew it.
it's time to find a new place.
I know. It's not the best situation.
Yeah, no, I think. I mean, listen, I don't want to say it, but you probably grow out of this house.
Just leave the house and then you won't have a problem.
I don't know. I mean, listen.
Ultimately, that would be great. But right now, this is where
Listen,
we are.
really, there's nothing. You can go to the judge and explain your situation, and if he understands, he can waive the ticket. It's his at his
Prerogative.
discretion, and that's why we
I
have
know.
a judge.
I know it would
But
just
you have
be
to
a
realize,
regular thing.
I can't, as he mentioned, I can't waive
No, I know
tickets. We make the laws, and the judge can say, okay, in your circumstances, we understand, and we're going to waive the tickets. Maybe he waives it every single time. I
Yeah.
don't think he would, but that's He's an elected judge and he makes his decisions. I don't know. But
Isn't that kind of waste of money to send somebody out
Gene,
with tickets?
Gene, it's the judge's decision, not yours, not mine.
But the village code enforcer that goes around giving the
The,
tickets.
the village
it's
code
wasting the time.
enforcer
Gene, no,
is
Gene.
this is has to do his or her job.
Yeah.
The judge does his or her job. I can't tell them what to do, right? We're not telling them not to give tickets. The judge can decide what the judge decides. He's an elected judge. One of them is appointed. They are judges, and we don't interfere with the decisions. That's the way the government goes.
Okay.
But that's your call. I mean, you can definitely go to the judge and explain it. And I don't know, but I wouldn't just keep going once a month to say, listen, we got more tickets. We have 5 more tickets or 2 more tickets.
How deep is the landlord's driveway? Maybe you could just park on Franklin and then just cut
He
through
has
his
the
backyard.
same driveway.
And he's using all his.
He has the same driveway, so even if he has one car, if we park there, we have to
You're
move it in the morning.
blocking,
It's the same
right.
problem to move it for him.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't.
Okay.
I mean, we tried. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you.
All right, good luck. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, now that we're here, let's just do that.
Next item is a request for a permit for a Friendship Circle walkathon.
Ah.
Is there anyone here for that? Yes.
Hello, my name
Oh.
is Sarah Kaczynski. I'm here from Chabad of Great Neck, and we're located at 400 Isha Road. God willing, on October 31st, we are going to be having a Friendship Circle walkathon, and we'd like the following roads closed off from approximately 1 o'clock to 1:30. We're going to be beginning at 1 o'clock from 54 Steamboat Road, Nashadi Jewish Center. Then we'd like to walk down Steamboat, make a left onto Middle Neck Road, then a right onto Ellard Avenue, then a right onto Forest Row. We're going to make a left onto Franklin Road and walk all the way down as it turns into Rogers Road. Finally, we'll make a right onto Isha Road and should arrive at approximately 1:30 by 400 Isha Road, Chabad of Great Neck.
It's the same route that you've taken the
In the
last few
past.
years, correct?
Yes.
That part of
And nobody's
it
gonna
is
park
not
on
a
any of the
village.
streets on Forest Row or Lane or.
No,
Right,
as
okay.
to the best of our ability.
As long as we, as long as we don't park there.
Yeah, part of it is not our village, right? When it gets to Rogers,
It belongs to Kings Point.
right? I know. Okay.
It's the same that they've done every
Yeah, I
year. It
know.
works out
I
very
think-
nicely.
Yeah, I know. I
Gotten
think
covered
you used
with
to
the
go on
powder and
Hicks
paint.
before, right?
For a while, yes.
Right. I think this is a much better way. It
Mhm.
has less.
It's
Less
more
traffic.
out of the way and not
Yeah.
blocking people.
All right. Anyone has any?
I'll move it.
Right.
Great.
Moved and
I know.
seconded.
We have to all vote.
Oh, good.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passed
Now you
unanimous.
got the vote. Good luck. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Have a good night.
The next item is an update on the request to install a fire hydrant. Mr. Haramis,
I thought we.
he's just going to give an update
Oh,
on
okay.
it.
Yeah, so 523 Middle Neck Road, as you know, in the past, they came before this board and met with the fire department to put a standpipe 40 feet from one of the fire hydrants that's already existing on Middle Neck Road. There was some sort of miscommunication that they would have to add a hydrant before this Middle Neck Road gets paved. We worked everything out with Fire Marshal today, and there's no need for a new fire hydrant to be installed. There's one directly across the street and maybe 100, 120 feet away in front of CVS, and there's one between Everfresh and the fire department. And they'll be putting their standpipe over there. It's gonna go along the sidewalk, which was approved. No need for a fire hydrant.
Right. I think the good thing is, one, we're not going to lose parking
We're not gonna lose
spots,
any parking spots,
and also we don't have to pay rent for
another hydrant.
hydrant. So this was a good.
Yeah, the
Um,
standpipe is gonna be paid for by
Right. We don't
Applicant.
as
the building.
right, by the building, not
Applicant.
by the county. Right.
Yes.
Right. So he does that. Okay. Good news. Okay.
The next item is a request to put a catch basin on Ellard Avenue.
Yeah, how is that going to work?
Would you like to
Um,
explain it?
So,
How big, first of all, how big is this catch basin? You want to show the. You have the pictures of that.
So
place?
this is a picture that the homeowner has sent in. This is basically
Here's
what's
a-
going
here's a
on,
river.
right? And then if you could
Where,
see,
where does that go, by the way?
just
just runs down, to Spring Lane.
So that it doesn't go to her house, does it?
Um, well,
It doesn't
It
go
goes-
toward her house. Put it this way.
it goes,
To
because
King's
of the way
Point.
the channel is, the water is flowing, it cuts down the side through the, between the two houses that are there. There is a easement, I believe, that goes through there for the sewer department.
Through
One
here?
time the sewer department was ours, now it's not.
Not
This-
this, not for
this used to
stormwater,
be- this
Louis.
area used to-
Not for the storm water, for sewer.
For the sewer.
Is there a pipe there?
There's no pipes there, no.
So why would sewer department have?
They had an
There's-
easement
there's a
in case
pipe
they
for
needed it.
sewer.
Yeah.
There's a pipe for the sewer that goes to the pump station that they're rebuilding
I
on
underst-
Spring Lane.
Is it gonna go through here?
That is two separate things. So like I said, there's an easement for the sewer line to come through there. I don't know about a easement for a drainage line. But this is
stormwater.
the way it's always been. It never really washed out like that, but there used to be some brush and some stuff up there that would kind of hold the water back from washing out. These last two rainstorms, this last one I had to forget, that was a unique storm in itself. But the one before that was when I first started getting complaints that their lawn was washing out, that the backyard was washing out. There's really not a whole lot you can do because I don't think that the land behind that guide rail there is even belongs to the village. And if it is, it's only about, I think it's only about maybe 4 feet behind that.
No,
that
this is the
guide
front.
rail.
Do you? Can you show me where that goes?
So, Mayor, this is the view from the corner of Floyd and Ellard Avenue. As you could see,
drove there.
this is the front of it.
I want to know where the river goes. What is the bottom of it? That's.
I'm
looking
sorry,
at-
you're looking at this?
So that is where.
This is
it comes
behind
in.
here. This
Right,
is the
I
front.
know.
This is the behind of it.
Go all the way down. When you're going down all the way,
Okay, so this is not. This is just a single picture.
I know.
This is it.
Do you have the aerial picture?
I can pull it up.
Doesn't that
Well,
go
the
to
thing
King's
just point out here, Mayor, can we
Where
just
Kings Point?
What do you need to
Point
know?
Park?
show this
Comes
at
back behind
2013? Look at the
22
plantings
Station
that are
Road.
here.
I mean,
that are
This
alive.
is not going to.
The house number there is number 22.
No, I just want to know where the water goes from there.
Is it going in the street?
It goes down and it goes where?
Okay, yeah,
And then it goes into the street,
Which street?
Spring Lane.
Spring Lane.
It goes to Spring Lane,
Yeah, it goes on to
and then
Spring
from there, where does it go? It just goes to.
It just runs to the end of the dead end of Spring Lane.
And do we have catch basins there, or
I think
that's
Kings
not?
Point does.
End of King.
Kings
That's Kings
Point
Point.
does.
It might actually come back to our.
This is.
What
That
about?
property, even that grass property there is partially in Kings Point.
Is it a private property or does it
Private
belong?
property.
It's a
Here,
private
man.
property.
This is it. This is it. This is the corner of Floyd and Ellard, as you could see in the middle of your screen,
Show me again.
right in the
Floyd
middle
and-
of.
Allard,
This is Ellard,
right,
and this
uh-huh.
is Floyd, and this line, as you could see, is the village of Kings Point.
That's Kings Point here, the blue, this way.
Right.
And then our.
So the water goes on that corner and goes down towards Spring Lane.
So what I'm saying is, you see this little strip right here? This little strip right here is running alongside this house here. This is the only thing that's in our village. That guide rail is right here.
Right.
We're only talking about a small piece.
Yeah, no.
The
Where
rest
does
of
the
this
water go? Show me where
So
the
how
water.
can
It
we
just
park-
runs down the street.
Runs down to Spring
It goes
Lane
that
here,
way.
And then it comes down this.
So where would the catch basin go?
Yeah, we can't put a catch basin in Kings Point.
No, so they're saying to put it,
No,
to
he's saying.
catch it before it goes.
Okay. Well, I mean, people can ask a lot of things.
So it's similar to the end of the other house, I think it's number 18, in the backyard that floods all the time on Spring Lane. And they say that all water comes from.
Where are the houses on 50? Is there a house on 53?
Yes, that's in Kings Point, though.
I know. It does.
There's
I
a
know.
house here, and a garage here,
That-
there's a house here, there's a house here.
So how far is that water going? The river. I call it the river. Where does the river go?
It goes to Spring
Comes
Lane.
down here and it flows between the two houses here.
How far? Okay.
Right.
So
Right, but
I
it's
think.
all- But it's our water
I-
really, there's no, we can't put a dry well on, it's not our property.
No, but
Can't put a
if
dry well.
are there any catch basins on Ellard
No
or
catch
Floyd?
basin.
Nothing. So
No
if
catch
even if you do, you would do something like a dry well.
So,
Well, the catch basin is on Ellard and what is that, Forest?
But the
Forest.
water doesn't go that
at
way.
Ellen and
Yeah.
Forest.
The water goes the other way.
I mean, that thing would have to be massive.
So let me ask you this.
The only thing you could do there is put a cement vault right in front of the wall, right in front of, the wall here. Maybe 2 cement walls, it's not gonna have a big holding capacity, and you
It
have
takes
to
it
leave
takes
an
about
open
5
bottom.
minutes. It takes about 5 minutes to fill.
But
You
that's
have to
gonna,
leave an open bottom in them,
Yeah.
and hopefully that the drainage in the area
It's good.
will,
Right. So
when you get a storm like we had, these
No,
last couple of storms,
it's gonna
you know,
flood that area.
it's gonna overflow. That water was coming and going right over the top of that wall.
right. So I really think, well, my suggestion, if they create a the river the river is already there. Just put in bricks or some kind of a retaining material to direct the water from where it is to the spring lane, and that's it. So they're going to have something like a drain.
They might have a problem with.
I think the house number 22 is getting ready to rebuild his house, so that's one issue.
That's
He
53?
wants to get that corrected.
Which one is 22?
That 53 there?
22 Spring,
That's 53?
53, lot 53, yeah.
I think if they can't, you're saying that they can't do that for any reason? They can't create a river bed using stones, gravels, anything to just get the water
Well,
going?
I think that we're at a little bit of a catch-22 either, because I
But that's,
can't go off
you're
there
right,
and start
but that's the way it
filling
has been,
something
and
in
No.
apparently we have,
outside of the jurisdiction
No, no,
of that
they should bury a big
Huh?
clay pipe in that property to take the water straight down, bypass the.
Once we sold the sewer, we lost that easement, I think. And then,
you lose the easement, we lost the easement?
because we don't have sewer, the
They
easement
were
was
have
for
sewer
the sewer.
district now, the sewer district,
No, but the easement was only
Then
for sewer.
the
You can't
easement
use
is
that
gonna
for
be
something else.
transferred,
to the sewer district.
so you're saying that now it's,
So we have
All
no
these
control.
houses
So
here
people
that are
have
connected to
control
the
once this
sewer line, these
conversation-
houses are not connected to the sewer.
But it's our.
These houses are all connected to the sewer line,
But
which
it's not
comes
really,
across
it's
here
the
and ends
geography
up
of the land, that's the only thing.
on Spring Lane.
That would allow the water to go.
so take the pipes out.
And then where the water's gonna go?
And it's gonna overflow the area. They'll flood on
Well,
Howard.
there's, like 6-inch pipes in the wall, if you swing back to the wall. These were done about 30 years ago. This wall, I think Jimmy actually built that wall when he started working with the village. This wall was just, broken pieces of sidewalk, just stacked. And if you look back at the picture on the other side, you'll see the pieces of sidewalk and rubble that, and you gotta go back to this picture. You'll see the pictures of the sidewalk and the rubble. That was back there to hold the water from washing.
So what happened
land
before
on
that wall was installed?
But there was also, this was all bushes and brush and, you see the wall, you see how the wall used to be constructed? See? It was just stacked pieces of concrete just to hold the roadbed up.
How many feet after that is ours? 4?
Maybe 4.
If you dig a ditch 4 by 20,
Well, that's why I said, but you have to put a concrete vault in, otherwise it's just gonna wash out. You're just gonna create a big hole, and then the dirt's just gonna wash
No,
out.
no,
You have to put-
Plus, we
Of
don't
course-
know
no,
what
that's what I
kind of
meant.
soil, we don't know what kind of drainage they have there, even if you put that vault.
Well,
Is there any way we could, connect to the storm drain in Kings Point?
They don't have stuff.
They don't have.
Yeah, they do at the end of Spring Lane, are you kidding?
yeah.
You go on Spring Lane,
How-
you could, by the way, you go there on a
you're
sunny day,
expecting
you
us
could
to
get
go
a wall.
all the way from there to the end of Spring Lane?
What? Huh?
You're gonna be doing work outside of your village, coming through the property.
No, we need some kind of
I think
IMA or something.
the only thing is either for them to create a riverbed for the water to just go to Spring Lane, or we can dig 10 feet
Well,
and
that's
put
what
put a concrete
I was
vault.
thinking if you put maybe two, vaults and concrete vaults in there,
How deep though?
just with an open bottom, then at least you have some sort of holding capacity. On a heavy rain, yeah, it's probably gonna go over the
Can
wall.
we open up the road bed to get a decent sized vault? Because 4 feet's not going to do it.
Won't that
Well, that's what
undermine
you'd
the
have to
road
do,
then?
you'd have to open it up
And dig
and
down.
I have to call Patanti to see what's the biggest size precast that you can even put in there.
Is that
Right,
manhole there?
and those homeowners aren't going to be able to get into their
What
driveway.
about that manhole there, that's in your way?
What is that manhole?
That might be
That's the
sewer.
sewer,
That's on train.
that's sewer.
That's
As
not.
I said,
Just
sewer
connected to
comes
the
through
sewer.
here.
Oh, yeah, so Louis, whatever we.
Yeah, we put in that vault.
You put a basin here and a basin here, then, you're trying to catch at least some of the water. You're not gonna resolve all of it, it's just, you have
So where
all
does
the
the rest
water
of it
coming
go?
down from Ella Avenue pitch down that way, and all the water coming down from Floyd pitch down.
Where
that
does the
way.
And from
Floyd
Sherman's public bathroom.
when Floyd goes, when you're going toward you on Floyd, when you're making a left from Eller to that way.
So Floyd, so now you come down Floyd here,
Is there any
now take another turn.
is there any
Turn
catch
down-
basins there?
Turn down Hayden.
I see a no, that's not a catch
Go down
basin.
Right
Hayden.
there,
No, but
Floyd and
it
Hayden.
doesn't tilt that way.
You
It's
go down to
not
the end of
pitched.
Hayden, there's another basin here. There's another basin here. This basin,
That's by
this
Kennedy.
basin had also, this is a retaining wall, this thing is crazy high on the other side. This retaining wall, Galvin, I think, ended up redoing that a few years back. This whole road was constructed on locust poles, hatched like that, and then filled in. That's what was holding this road up. I think it was Galvin that came in and rebuilt the backside of that wall because it was washing through. But this basin here has a pipe that goes through the 2 yards and then ends up onto Spring Lane as well. The other one, for whatever reason, never happened that way.
Louis, who has the huge storm drains on Spring Lane? I mean, I walked by there on a summer day. It was hot out, and you just hear water rushing in
It's
those.
always water, hence the word Spring Lane.
Yeah, that's it.
That Greenway Terrace, that was a swamp. That was all swampland back there.
As was Baker Hill, the whole area.
Baker Hill. Yeah, all behind, all that Greenway Terrace, that was all swampland, and one of the guys used to.
I want you to
be a
zoom in.
guy, and he loaded
Abraham,
it
could
up
you
with-
zoom in
with all
on
this
the
concrete.
corner of Floyd and Hayden up there? I just want to ask if anybody knows what this is. No, go back to that previous screen. Yeah, I would like anybody to tell me what is at the intersection of Floyd and Hayden. Yeah, Sherman's public bathroom.
What is that?
This home was always open for,
I wonder if that's the cause of the flooding.
no,
So,
there's-
so the end of where the woman was just speaking about on Forest Lane is also another issue, very similar to the one at the end of Ellard there.
Oh, it flows down there?
That basin, when they constructed, that was woods as well. At the end of that street, when you got to the end of that street, it was just woods there. Those last 3 houses, or 4 houses, they weren't there. So when they constructed that road, they put a basin at the end of that road, and it drops down to the next grade, because the house, I think it's number 18 on Spring Lane, is much lower, and then there's an open pit drainage culvert back there that used to take all of the water through the backyards and end up over there. Now that pipe there, myself and Kings Point, we tried to rod that thing out a few times, and
roots in there or something, we can't get it through. But now, they're looking at getting prices to see, because it's our, part of it, not all of it, is our road water that's coming in and feeding into that backyard, as well as the water from the other backyards. Um, so, they're trying to figure out how to either replace the pipe that goes through the sides of that yard and just move on. On the side of that one house, there's a basin cover half by the garage door that's an access, but it's all filled up with stuff. We can't open it. I mean, I've tried that thing so many times to rod that line and clean it out.
I need an
going
advice
back
of
to
counsel.
when
This is
we
the
had
whole.
the sewer department and we tried to
I'm
rod
just
it.
going to ask for an advice of counsel. Okay. If we can meet. Yeah, just advice of counsel.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, after a discussion, I think we are going to further discuss it with the council and the engineers and see how this can be resolved, and we're going to come up with the recommendation hopefully in the next meeting or so. Um, as of now, I think I'm going to table it for the next meeting.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is a request to place a temporary storage unit at 7 North Ravine Road. Gentleman came in because of Hurricane Ida. Their basement has become flooded. They're requesting to put a storage unit, a temporary storage unit for a month, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're just requesting a permission. Per code, they have to have a permission of
Yeah.
the BOT to place it. This is the application in front of you, and it's should be removed by November 1st, 2021.
Do they have a picture of where it's going to go?
It's right on the driveway.
Right on the driveway.
In the driveway, yeah.
Okay. And what's going to happen with they have enough room to park the cars?
Actually, that's a good question.
Can't put on their front lawn?
Park in front of the academy grounds.
They got a big driveway at that house.
They do? Okay.
Yeah, that house has a big driveway.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me see if I can get the picture of it up. There you go. That's, I believe that is the house. Louis, is that the house? Or is it on the other side?
It's the other side.
Yeah,
That's Reese.
this is it.
It's Jonathan Reese on the other side. That's not such a big driveway.
Well, they can put it at the top by the garage.
At least I think like three cars can fit there.
They got plenty of
It's
room
not a big
down at the
driveway.
bottom. They'll put it by the garage.
It's not a big
They'll block your
That's not a
garage.
big driveway. I mean,
They're gonna put it up by the top of the garage, block one of the
Yeah.
garages. They got
Yeah.
plenty of driveway.
Oh, they can put it. Okay.
Right
They
by the
can put
garage,
it close
right by
to
the house.
by the garage. Okay.
That's fine.
I think they only have two cars there anyway. I think the building might be a common.
I'll move it.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Passed unanimous. The next item is a request by American Legion to hold a parade in the village. It's requested for Thursday, November 11th, which is a Veterans Day, departing at 11 o'clock. I'm sorry, at 10:45 and ending at 11 o'clock at the Village Green. It will start at Alert Firehouse and ends at Village Green. They didn't have it, I believe, last year because of COVID, but they're requesting it this year. They have always had it in the village. Here's the request letter.
This is for the
Veterans Day Parade,
Which day does it fall this year?
Thursday, November 11th, like always.
November.
They don't go
Thur-
down to
Thursday.
All Saints Church after that?
They want to end it at Village Green. Only a 15-minute ceremony.
Okay.
So moved.
It's moved.
Second.
Oh, well, you can't move and second it.
You tried getting away with it. Second.
It's moved and seconded by all in favor. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
So it's unanimous. The next item is a tax cert for property located at 626-634 Middle Neck Road. Mr. What's Tom's last name? Donato. Mr. Donato has presented this to the village. Mr. Gray, do you want to talk about this, or do you want me to just explain?
Yeah, I wasn't actively involved in the negotiations, but this covers years 2015 to 2021. Originally, the applicant was requesting that the final assessment be reduced to 731,337, which in his calculations would have entitled him to a refund of $7,710. Mr. Donato was able to negotiate. There is a slight reduction to the assessment, and it'll be set at $870,000, and they've agreed to a lump sum refund of $3,500.
Which is less than half of what they requested.
Correct.
And this is for like 7 years, I believe. 6 years, 7 years?
6 years.
6 years.
Could you show me the
Property?
626, 634, please?
Sure. That's the property. I believe it's the whole section.
Oh, they are asking.
What they're asking is for the assessment to be lowered, and they are
What
also
is it assessed currently?
currently is assessed at 971,500.
975.
971.
And what Mr. Donato agreed to? 850.
870.
So $100,000.
870 for those three commercial properties?
Yes.
Why are we settling that?
I think
What's
because
what's
the cost
the
of going to court would be more money than what we negotiated.
I think what the question of the board is why such a property is assessed at so low.
right?
I believe when Mr. Donato came last time, he explained that we can't go based on the current value. You can't go by the fair market value. You have to go based
But
on.
that was for residential. This is not residential.
I believe it's the same for it's the same rules for assessing a property.
For commercial.
It would be also for commercial.
For non-homestead.
Again, it's a income-based assessment, not market value assessment. That's the way that they have to assess the value. You can't go based on a real market value. You have to go based on the income based. And as Mr. Donato last time explained, the cost of going to court to fight it might be more than settling it for the amount, for 3,500.
And in addition, the petitioner was basing his demands based upon his settlement with the county. He settled years 2015 through 2020 with the county. Mr. Donato did not accept the county's numbers. In the negotiations, Mr. Donato did much better than what the county did.
Mr. Donato did
Better.
Better than what the county had negotiated.
Oh,
But that's what the petitioner was falling back on and trying to rely on the deal that he cut with the county. Mr. Donato would have no part of that because apples and oranges.
I mean, I'm reluctant to accept all these tax
Certs.
but to me, the value is a lot more, and I think it's just. I don't know why the residents can't do the same thing.
There are different rules for residential
I know, but
and commercial
I
properties.
understand. I just, I understand there are different rules, but the thing is, who's going to get the end of it? The residents will get the end of it because, again, $3,500 is not significant. It's going to be maybe about $1 that goes to every individual, but still.
But when you have all the properties, for example, a property that should be 2 million is assessed at the million, the next door property also should be, for example, $1.5 million. It's now assessed at 750.
True.
Now, at the end of the day, everybody will pay their fair share.
Except the private residents who have
The
a private
homestead
home.
visit, homestead
Right, the
visit.
homestead.
The
So
homestead
you
is
can
also
go ahead
if
and
you
say on Middle Neck Road we're going to decrease the assessment by X amount or X percentage, and then they're going to pay less. Who's going to end up paying more? The homestead is going to pay more because unless you say that the county and the village and the school are
But
going
Mayor,
to say
if-
we're going to decrease everybody's tax.
if you look at the homestead values as well, you'll see that they are also valued and assessed as not significantly, but different than a market value as well.
All right. I just don't think that it's this much of a discrepancy between the value and the market value. All right, listen, you guys. Anybody would like to move this?
It's moved by Trustee Hope. Is there a second?
I just wanna take a look at the property. So we're talking about the one
This
that's.
property, if you look at the.
Oh, yeah, I just picked it up, yeah.
So they are requesting, they want it to be valued based on the, as Mr. Gray mentioned, value that the county has assessed it, which is 731, I believe. And Mr. Donato negotiated that the final assessed value for tax year 2022 will be 870,000.
But the county assessment is not based on fair market value.
So the village is not based on the assess fair market value. It's based on an income-based valuation
On the, commercial,
on the non-homestead.
non-homestead. Yeah.
Correct. The other choice would be to just go to court, and then, as Mr. Donato mentioned last time, we need an expert, and based on precedent, it's very unlikely that the village
Right.
will come out.
Unfortunately, that's what happens. I mean, I understand that financially it's probably beneficial to just settle. So, okay.
You say it's on income, how do you know that they really tell you what their income is?
Right, so that's what we asked Mr. Donato, and what he says is they actually do check the incomes.
They check
Now,
the leases.
they
There's
check the leases.
There's no way to check if somebody's.
Gene. What can I tell you? You can't go to the person's bank account and see how much money they're getting from each tenant. Because I think that's really going to interfere with the
You can't.
privacy.
You don't have the right to.
You don't have to.
Some of these stores are not really saying what they're making.
Right. Well,
each year, so
there's nothing you can do legally. You can ask IRS to go after them, but there's nothing the village can do.
So did you make them a counter offer and go down to 3,000?
We have.
We did.
This is the negotiated amount,
It
yes.
went down by 50.
Wants to support
Went
this,
down more than
obviously.
50%.
No, it went down by 50%.
I know, but Steve's the only one who's supporting this, so maybe you go down lower. Maybe somebody.
Well, the
This
question
this is after
becomes
negotiations.
what it's going to
Diminishing
cost
returns.
the village to negotiate. If it's going to cost me another $5,000 to negotiate to bring it down by $500, then I'm not going to negotiate. So that's the problem, and I think that many of the landlords know that, and many of the lawyers know that, and unfortunately, it happens in lawsuits and it happens in these kind of things. You know, at the end is what makes sense and how you can save more money. Okay.
It's
So,
moved by Trustee
by
Hope.
Sobel. I mean, by
Trustee Hope. You
You
can't second
moved
it.
I'll second it just to.
Okay.
Seconded by
Trustee.
Deputy Mayor. All in favor, reluctantly, please say aye.
Reluctantly, I say aye.
Aye.
Any against?
Trustee Kashi, are you for it or against it or reluctantly?
Not, I'm just looking at something else that they do.
Abstain?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay.
For me, this doesn't make sense.
Okay. Yeah, 4 yes and 1 abstain. The next item is annual appointment. My understanding is, Mayor, that you're still looking into some
Yeah,
appointments.
there are a couple of people that they are questioning their position. They don't want to. I'm talking to them and see what happens. So I'm going to table that until the next meeting.
The next item is a request for Deputy Superintendent of Public Work to attend the NICOM. Last time we approved it for Mr. Massaro to go. Mr. Newbert as well would like to attend.
I'll move it.
It's moved by the Deputy Mayor and seconded by
When is it
Trustee
again?
Hope. It's a NICOM training for Department of Public Work throughout the state.
No, when is it?
When is it? It's in yes, October 18th through 20th.
Okay.
At Saratoga Spring.
Okay.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimous. Mr. Mayor, while you're at the issue, discussing the Department of Public Work, I believe, Mr. Massaro, would you like to talk about pavings already now? Because you have Basilico coming up.
Yeah, we haven't finished up, we were gonna do the paving, the streets that I had given the list for, which was, Cary, Elliott, Ward Lane, East.
I would like to actually go over it with you on Thursday. I'm gonna be coming to the DPW, so we go over it on Thursday and we're gonna vote on it on the next meeting, so we can just hold off on that.
The
As far equipment, as far as the roads, these roads are, that we're doing it because it's on, obviously on the schedule.
It's on the schedule to,
And you do believe,
resurface.
when you, I mean, some of these roads I don't drive on, but you do believe that they are in need of,
So, well, originally I had, William Penn in that area, and then I switched them around because these streets up here, they seem to be getting up a little bit beat up there.
okay.
Would it be
There's
possible?
some water running on them and, you know,
I
just.
think one of the things that we have to be, because I know that couple of houses, and I think also the Syrian temple complained that after they did the road, the pitch changed a little bit, and now the water goes in that direction. So I think we have to be very careful about how the.
Well, you're always gonna change the pitch a little bit because you're gonna put the crown on the road, so normally the road, sometimes the road flattens out, but now you have a crown on the road so that the water runs to the sides of the road.
Right. So they
That's the
said
way
they
it's
didn't have
supposed
that issue before they did the. I mean, again, whatever they need to do. That and I don't know what's going to happen here, but I think they need to be just aware, do it in a way that doesn't go to anybody's property,
For the
especially.
most part, the way the spreader box is set up, you're milling out an inch and a half and you're putting an inch and a half right back. You know, as you're dragging the box, there's some corrections in the grade. But for the most part, the box is set at that grade, and that's the way the
Okay.
paving box is going down the road.
So you're saying Forest Row, is that the area that they're doing the? That's what you're doing, right? Tentative roads, Forest Row,
No.
north of Allard.
So Forest Row was another one that, remember last year we pushed it off because of, Greenway Terrace. And Forest Row may end up getting pushed off again because I don't see Greenway Terrace done yet, so it's probably gonna get pushed and rolled to next year, Forest Row itself, that little strip of Forest Row.
In terms of William Penn, would it be possible to patch some of the areas?
I will patch with our guys in-house,
Mhm.
the potholes that are there.
Right.
Just haven't had a chance to go out doing asphalt yet, but there are other spots as well that I have to patch.
Okay.
Small spots, and that'll hold it up until, next year when we do
Oh, I
that
see.
section.
Okay.
It doesn't really pay for me to start moving, there's a cost associated with moving the equipment from one side of the village all the way to the other side of the village.
Mhm.
The paving guys generally don't like to do that, and if they have to do that, then they usually hit you with a
Bigger fee.
relocation cost. So I try and keep everything in
No,
one area.
makes sense. It's on the southwest end of
Right.
the street.
So something like this, if he had to move the spreader box, he's gotta put the spreader box and the rollers all up on the low boy,
Yeah.
and then move it all the way to the other side, and then, you know, they charge you for that. There's more trucks, there's more labor moving the equipment, more union guys out there. The way these unions work too is, let's say I'm on the roller, and I wanna get on the Bobcat.
Mhm.
That, I'm allowed one jump in a day, that's it. I can't go to the roller, get on the Bobcat, and then come back to the roller.
Wow.
That's not happening, and another union guy's gotta come out, so.
That's amazing. Okay. Could you show me the roads one more time? I don't, the ones that they.
Okay, so Louis, you think you're going to do the Forest Road?
Well, it's all gonna, well,
No.
Keyspan just applied for the permit to connect the gas there on Forest.
I wouldn't do it until they're done.
My suggestion would be, and I hate to do it, because I already did it once to push it off, but more than likely, that one off, because they're gonna be driving other equipment in and out of there to put the road bed down.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think you should do
It's just
that.
not gonna make much sense at this point.
Yeah, and sometimes they can break another
Right,
something.
they're gonna end up damaging the road, and
It's not worth it.
probably not gonna make much
Anywhere
sense.
that they're gonna go with their trucks, I don't think you should touch. Okay.
So I believe,
And anyway, that particular road is in the middle of William Penn and, and Woolies Lane East, so whether I do it on this side or I do it on next year's side, it's really irrelevant.
Right.
So the tentative schedule calls for Woolies Lane East from Station Road to Elliott, Elliott to Cary, Cary to Rose, um, as well as a West Terrace. So it's basically this entire road here.
So it starts
I
from,
think I told you how much it was on the last,
so Station Road, you start from Woolies Lane East going all the way
I believe the way that
to west and
right.
then goes to,
It's going this way.
Rose is not ours.
Part
Is
of Rose
Rose
is.
Yeah,
ours?
Rose is ours,
Part
Rose
of
is
Rose.
ours? I thought Rose is town.
Part of Rose.
part of it.
Then
Well, we call those half streets, Rose, Elliott,
Rose,
Cary,
Cary, and Elliott.
we call half streets.
Well, the ones that are close to Woolies Lane East is ours. The one on Vista is not ours, correct? Close to Vista is not ours.
Close to Vista's not ours.
Right.
Only,
And you're going to Fourth or
up
no?
to house number 52, I think it is.
Are you going to Fourth? Is it Fourth Street?
Fourth Road.
Fourth Road.
Fourth Road was already
Done?
done, and Second Road was already done, and Vista was already done a couple of years ago.
Correct.
Okay. And what's the mileage on that? How many? Do you know how many?
I have to add it up, but, it says,
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
trying to see if he wrote me how much it was.
it rules from year to year, and the allocation differs year to year. He knows, I don't. How much money each
Do
year
we get from chips?
I'm done. How much did we get last year?
Last year we got about 211,000. I just actually checked today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
about
it's about the
200.
same this year.
So then how much is going to be to pave these roads that you just mentioned?
So, that's what I was trying to look for.
That was the estimated amount that was put on the budget, but that's not. I believe he received a quote. Yeah, accurate quote.
So he doesn't have it all added up, but Forest Row was 39,000.
Well, Forest Road you said you're not going to do.
Right, that one's off, but Elliott Road was 20, Cary was 24, Rose was 23, Woolies Lane East, Station to Elliott. I have to do it in pieces like that, because
Right, that's fine.
That's the way it's on the DOT inventory. So, Elliott, Elliott, Woolies Lane East from Station Road to Elliott is 16. Woolies Lane East from Elliott to West Terrace is 51. West Terrace Road from Vista to West Terrace Road is 31. And West Terrace Road from West Terrace Road to Woolies Lane is 32.
That was about 215. 217.
197,000.
I got 194 because I started counting late.
About 200.
About 200. Okay.
And I,
That's our
So we
cheap.
still have
I-
so we
I
still have
try-
211 from last year, right?
No, no, no.
No.
That's spent already.
That
They
was
did
so I
it?
try and keep the money, I try and keep the dollar value close to what I'm gonna get back in chips, because I could do $1 million in road, but I'm only gonna get that much money back from chips. the rest is out of your pocket. So when I get reimbursed, I try and keep that number, so it kinda balances out, so it really doesn't cost you so much out
Right,
of
so
your
that's the right
operating
way of
budget.
doing it, but, okay, I mean, we may be able to do a little bit more, or otherwise the chip money stays for next year.
Next year, for instance, is gonna be a little bit bigger, because it's a much bigger area. So next year's numbers is probably gonna be almost double that.
Okay, all right, so that's fine, I mean, we'll see. Okay.
I believe he needs affirmative answer so he can go ahead and give Basilico go ahead to pave the road.
I move to accept that road
Schedule.
schedule.
Second.
Very okay. I don't think we need to vote on it. Just direct Louis
Yeah.
to just do it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thumbs up.
Okay, going back to the public hearing.
Oh, okay. All right, Ken?
Would you like to discuss it?
Sure, can we have a motion to open the public hearing
So moved.
concerning 575-212 of the Village Code?
So
Move.
moved.
Moved by
Bart.
Bart,
I'll second.
second by Annie
Let's get
and
Annie in.
Steve, and all agree? By saying aye? Aye? Aye. Okay, let's go,
Okay,
please.
my understanding, Mr. Mayor, is that this was actually a recommendation by a local resident who might be an architect, made a recommendation to clean up, for lack of a better word, the definition of height of a building on how it's calculated. So instead of calculating the height of a building and/or porticos, because there's a specific language in there about a portico, instead of using the foundation of the building, the recommendation was to use the average curb elevations or the average of the four corners of the lot grade elevations, whichever is greater, to calculate the height of a building. But for a portico itself, instead of using those milestones to calculate where you should be measuring from, they're recommending that you just use the vertical distance from the mean ground along the base of the portico itself, where the portico is. So you're not measuring it from 4 different points that might be 150 feet away. So if you're looking at the portico,
From the base of the door.
correct,
Okay.
up to the top of the portico. So that's pretty straightforward. That's the recommendation.
Do we have to
Steve,
vote
did
on
you
them
have anything to
separately?
add to that?
No, they didn't.
I'm just saying. No, we did open the public meeting. Right. So anyone has any suggestions on that, any questions?
No.
Public, anybody wants to say anything on that? It's clear to everybody? It's pretty straight, okay. So,
You can have a motion to close the public hearing.
so moved.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there now a motion to adopt the local law?
So moved. Moved and seconded, all agree?
Aye.
Okay, very good. The second public hearing, you need a motion to open the public hearing concerning the width of bay windows.
So, okay.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is open. Mr. Mayor, this is also a pretty straightforward local law. Apparently, the way the current the way the current code is written is that when you have bay windows, the maximum width of a bay window is 6 feet. So the proposal here, and I don't know if it came from a resident or if it came from the building department, is to make that 8 feet. And there's various sections of the code that are affected because you obviously have different
Districts.
different zoning codes. So this will, across the board, allow 8-foot bay windows in all of those districts.
Is this up to 8 feet, or 8 feet is the max, or is it has to be 8 feet?
No, up to 8 feet.
Up to 8 feet,
Up
good,
to 8
that
feet.
makes sense, okay. All right.
What was the reason for the change?
The 6-foot window, a lot of the architects in the past have been complaining that it's just such a small window for a bay window, because it's a 2-foot, a 2-foot, and then a 2-foot. If you have it 2 more feet, it it makes it bigger, brighter, and it's nicer looking on the outside.
It's gonna affect your board, maybe. Mike, it's gonna affect your board.
Yeah, it will affect the wood.
Well, it's gonna affect the board, now you have to
But it's nice, I
decide.
mean,
Yeah, I think it's nicer.
it's not, there's no reason not to do it, as far as I
Right.
know, unless your property's 7 feet wide, then. you know,
Well, you can still do 7 feet,
Yeah.
up to 8. Okay. All right.
Right.
You need
Wait,
side.
anybody has any comments to make from the public? Okay,
Motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Right.
Public hearing's closed. Now, Mr. Mayor, you can entertain a motion to adopt that local law.
I move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed?
None.
Motion
Okay.
carries, local law is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
the
you. The
quickest
next-
local law adoption we had past 6 years.
Yeah.
That was the quickest local law adoption.
Two of them.
I know, we should have had more. Okay.
The next item is the minutes of September 14, 2021 meeting. You have it up on your screen if you would like to me go through it, or you could see it on your computers.
I'll move it.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor. Is there a second?
I second.
It's seconded by the mayor. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, I mean unanimous, I believe, Trustee Mendelson.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The last item on the agenda
Abstract.
is the abstract for this upcoming Friday.
So is it to include this other piece as well?
No, that's just a request
Oh,
for
just a
next
request.
time,
Okay.
if you
for
would
next-
like to put it to the public. Or if you
Just-
have a
should I-
question.
Is it, did everyone receive it? 'Cause-
No.
Oh, okay, so I'm just gonna pass it around.
Okay.
So the only thing I have a question, Louis, what are the MDTX and BA tests? I know it's from Comply.
That's drug testing,
So,
drug
the-
and alcohol testing for CDL drivers.
because it doesn't, for which drivers?
CDL.
CDL drivers, commercial driver license.
Oh, okay. So it's only the people who have the commercial driver's license that get,
Correct,
okay.
yes.
All right,
Which is basically everybody at DPW.
Yeah, mostly all the DPW guys.
but they just randomly pick, you know,
Yeah, it's random testing.
because it
All
looks
up.
like two of them had the one
Some of
te-
them had drug and some of them had drug and alcohol.
oh, so which, oh, so MDTX is the drug and BA is the alcohol? Yeah, that must be.
Blood
it.
alcohol.
Yeah, blood alcohol, there you have it. Okay, so I'll make a motion to, accept the abstract.
Second.
It's moved by Trustee Mendelson, seconded by Trustee Hope. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Mr. Mayor?
Aye.
It's passed unanimous.
I mean, so far, we're okay with it.
Yep,
We're just gonna-
yep.
Okay.
Would you like to entertain the public?
Yes. Any public comments? Public,
Are you supposed to entertain the public?
Come on up.
yes. Oh, what?
What am I gonna say? No, I would like, I'd actually like a written response by, I'd like Mark to write something, yeah.
Mark?
Mark.
Yes.
James Lenziger, 58 Beach Road. You already took care of a couple of questions that I had, but I did note that 31 Beach Road, the for rent sign is finally gone. So I hope that can be kept out forever.
Me too.
I did ask last time about 6 Steamboat Road, if there's been any kind of investigation to see if that place is being used for anything beyond a family residence, and if so, if it's safe and so on. Do you know if anything has been inspected there?
I do not. I know I have not
All right, so that's a question to Steve. I personally believe that we need to hire at least one more full-time individual. The issue is, and maybe I can ask Abraham to explain, we have to hire people preferably from the list.
Civil
That
service
is
list. Civil service.
the civil service list. And there are a certain number of people that take the test every few years, and from those people, most of them are hired, and then there's only a few left, maybe two left, from what I'm hearing. One of them doesn't live in the county, and the other one probably has a different job who's not interested. So then it becomes an issue of hiring someone who's not on the list, and preferably, from what I'm hearing, it needs to be a resident of the village of Great Neck.
County.
County. A county first, not the village?
It's preferred to be from the village side, but if you can't.
Right, exactly. So it's preferred to be from the village, but if not, the county. So, so it leaves us very little opportunity to hire someone who is capable and also on the list. So at this time, I think we have to start looking outside of the list, and I think the search has been exhausted. So we are really trying as much as we can to hire someone to help with the building department. As far as I hear, there's things that people are doing things illegally. I'm sure the building department can reassure you that those individuals who do things illegally have been given stop work order, and fines and summonses have been issued.
Mayor, can I just add to the comment about the search?
Yes.
We're going to expand the titles, the building department titles that we're going to look at, get additional list so we could grow the pool. So instead of just a building inspector, we'll be looking at building slash plumbing inspector. We'll be getting that list. A code enforcer, code enforcement officer, and also excuse me, plan examiner. So hopefully that'll grow the pool of potential qualified candidates to pick from.
Well, I hope it can be done and that we can find people, because it just strikes me that terribly understaffed and with a population of around 11,000 and all these structures.
With that, I agree with you.
I mean, we really need some
But-
people here. One more thing, do you have any idea when the actual paving will start?
Right.
October
So
5th?
before, I just wanted to let you know also, I personally interviewed a couple of people. They have interviewed people. It's just
No,
if you know people,
hiring the right people is
Key.
hard and it can be very difficult. I
Right.
understand it, but it's obvious that our building department is short-staffed.
they are
And
short staffed,
Gino,
but I think right. No, we know that, right?
is there a date that Posilico has indicated it will be paving in our village?
They will start our village first. They start from north going south.
Okay.
Have they given us a date? The date has been moved multiple times, so I just don't know.
They started
Appa-
the curbs already yesterday.
Right. So the curbs were started yesterday. They were supposed to be done last week. They started yesterday. So I think they're doing their markouts. Did they finish with the markouts or no?
Markouts are done, they're doing the curbs, and then from then they're gonna be moving to milling and paving.
How long does it take to do the curbs?
There is no set deadline. They have put up, as the mayor mentioned, multiple times. They
Mhm.
keep pushing it back.
So Abraham, say you're advised that they'll be working, I don't know, Steamboat Road or north around All Saints, okay? Will the residents and people near, will they get some notification?
As the information comes in, they'll put it on the website. So, for example, if you look at the website tomorrow, there's an advisory that, for example, the demolition of the railroad ties will be performed tomorrow. As the information come to us, we'll give it to the public, and we put it on the website.
Very well.
And the county has advised us that they're supposed to give notification to the surrounding residents.
Right,
But
because
that's,
if you recall how in the summer all that started, it all came in as a surprise and there was no notification.
Just to make it
I know.
clear, we were not
That's history.
advised.
But now I'm trying to think ahead and so that we residents will get notification.
So you get notification when we get notification, but
Okay.
um,
They called me yesterday, and they're supposed to get back today, but nothing. I'll follow up tomorrow morning.
okay. All right. Any other comments, Gene?
Mayor, also maybe you want to discuss aftermath of Hurricane Ida and obtaining building permits that residents who were affected they must have a permit.
Right.
Maybe the board can entertain waiving the permit fees, but they have to get a
Right.
permit.
Right. Yes, Gene.
Why don't you just hire David as a code enforcer?
He's already on the block.
Yeah.
He has to take the test.
You want to take the test, David?
I'm happy to take pictures instead.
Thanks, David, I love you too.
Okay. In the abstracts, I saw that there was another 4,500 paid out to RD Design Studios.
That was from July and August. Those were the dates that he served.
Okay, so
So,
that's the finish of payment.
That was it. That was
Final
it.
payment.
Okay. I think it's 7-Eleven or 7-15 on Middle Neck Road, that kickbox place.
Okay.
Confidence?
Do you think you could send a
Confidence? Which
No,
one?
it's the one across the street, across from Oxford.
Krav Maga?
Krav Maga, yeah.
Krav Maga, yeah.
Do you think you could maybe send them, or maybe give them a call, the owner, and ask him to maybe put a sign in his window, or ask his clients that come, the mothers, to pick up their children, not to park on the crosswalk or double park, because it's really dangerous, because you've got Hicks Lane, somebody wants to cross on the crosswalk, and you've got a car parked on the crosswalk, and you've got another mother double parked here. When they come around from Hicks, somebody that wants to cross when the light changes, you're going around that car, cars are coming round from
Right.
Hicks.
Okay.
They really
Just
need to be-
send them a letter indicating that it has brought to our attention that people do park on the crosswalk. Please notify your customers to avoid doing that because it will cause.
Have parking enforcement give tickets for the cars that park on the crosswalk?
Well, they're not there though.
So they cannot stay there 24/7 giving permit, but I can
Okay,
mention
I'll
to
tell you,
them
just
that
the
they
other
paid close
day,
attention to
actually
that
it
corner.
happened to me just the other day when I got off the bus, crossed over Hicks, wanted to cross the crosswalk,
There was a car
crossover,
there.
and this woman pulled up right on the crosswalk, and she said, "I'll just be 10 minutes, my son will be out in
10
10
minutes?
10 minutes
Is
blocking
there-
the
Because
crosswalk.
Gene, is there
Because her son-
a time that you've noticed that it happens?
Oh,
Now?
that happened to me.
No,
Time.
a
Time
specific
limit,
time so
like
that
clock.
we could ask them to.
I came off that bus, it must be the 3 o'clock, so it gets up to Arundel about 3.
30?
No, it doesn't take that long.
No, I
3:15.
Okay, but before we start sending our code enforcers, I think we should call them. Just send them a letter, say please, just remind them. I don't want to start giving tickets if people
No,
don't
just,
move.
They see the parking enforcement, they start moving the cars.
Have the owner try to talk
Yeah,
to
speak to
his
the owner, speak
clients
to the clients
nicely,
first.
you know, just,
Yeah.
what was that?
Okay.
Um,
Yes.
North Road,
North Road.
yes, the IDA meeting, they tabled the tax relief.
Yes.
What is the building department going to do now? Are they going to say clean
They
up?
tabled it. They didn't say anything else.
Yeah, I know, but
When
are
they-
we gonna just have to wait?
Versus.
Get cleaned up.
Well, I mean, they have to know exactly what they're going to do. I don't know if you can do anything right now. IDA has to make a decision.
Well, that part I know, but what do we do about the building looking like that? Isn't it?
Well-
First of all, there should be a sign, no trespassing, because
Okay.
there is an opening, and you might not know all those weeds and bushes that have grown over the last 3 years. Underneath that is a deep, deep hole where he'd started with
Right.
excavating. Now everything's grown over it. Anybody going in there wouldn't know. They can go right down there, and then that might be a liability
They
for
never
the
put a
village.
fence around? I thought there was a fence around.
It's
Well,
a
there's an
partial
opening in the
fence on
fence.
one part back of the building, that's all.
That's just a big cavity there that's covered up.
I'll take
Okay,
care of it, I'll send
Steve,
it.
okay.
Yeah. Or he could just put a danger, no trespassing, something to protect the village,
I'll get it
because
cleaned up.
you're aware of it, and, okay?
Okay.
Because
He
you
said he'll
wouldn't
take
know
care.
if you went back there to just walk back.
I don't go in people's backyards.
Well, it's not people's backyard.
It's private area. I don't go to private locations, but you're right. It has to be protected. Not, even animals can fall. So you have to be careful. Thanks. I know. Oh, they have to fence it in if they can. Any other comments?
To adjourn.
Building permits.
No building permits, no.
Oh yeah. So one thing I wanted to mention, I know the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, and we should definitely put this on our website as well. Many people are doing, and they're trying to get into and fix their homes. I know there are certain things they do that definitely needs permit. Certain things may not. I think those are the things that I would like for Steve to really come up with the items that they need to take a permit, and certain things that they may not to take a permit to allow them to start moving in fast. So I don't know, for example, if they're changing the sheetrocks, do they need permit for that?
Yes, but most importantly is I was speaking with Louis and a few of the guys from the DPW, and they were telling me that a lot of boilers are being replaced, a lot of hot water heaters are being replaced. Those are things that have to be permitted, have to be inspected. It's gas work, it's electrical work. We need to make
Right.
sure that everything is done right.
Properly,
Because
right.
once
So
they got a
again,
permit-
I would like for those who are listening or may listen tomorrow, I really encourage you, it's for your own safety that you need to make sure that these permits are taken out. I can discuss it with the board to see if we're going to waive some of these permits. I understand that many people are suffering. What? Permit fees, right, I'm sorry, not the permits. We are asking you to come in to take out permits, but the permit fees could possibly be waived. Again, getting a permit and doing it properly is for your own safety. We have to make sure that the people who are coming in are licensed and know what they're doing. Um, and so again, I encourage everybody to please make sure that you do come to the village hall, to the building department, and ask for permits for these things. I ask um, Steve to put out a list of things that that do not need permit to be taken out, and those things that will need a permit to be taken out on the website, so people can if they're doing minor things that may not permit, they don't have to waste their time. But again, any electric work, gas work, water need, right, sorry? Boiler, boiler is gas, or electric, really need to have the proper permitting. Okay.
But a lot of the homeowners wouldn't know that, and they just think, gee, I need a furnace.
You're right.
That's what he's saying.
That's what I s-
Shouldn't the contractors be the ones to, they know.
You're right, but the thing is, if you have the proper contractor, if you bring someone from another location, they may not know the code or may not care about the code. They do the job and leave, and then you have to run after them if they're caught doing something illegal. The people that we can actually hold responsible are the homeowners. Now, I would like to also ask the building department to, if there are contractors that are violating the code, they should also be notified. And if they continue doing that a second or third time, they should not be allowed to work in the village. And I think they should know that, and know that their names, and they will be sent to the other municipalities in Great Neck, to the other mayors and building inspectors, to realize that those people have violated the codes knowingly, and they should not be allowed to work anywhere in Village of Great Neck, or in Great Neck Peninsula. Any other
Put
comments?
something in the next Great Neck News saying, due to the flood, homeowners, if you have to replace your furnace, etc., you know, the advice that you have to
Right,
look out for
so I can tell you that
flooding,
most people already have done it because it's been a while ago and people do need hot water and so, but again, I think even if it has been done, I would like to ask the board to waive any fines or fees for those people who've done it because obviously they had to get it done quick. But I would like for those things to be inspected to make sure that it was done properly with the proper, you know, the gas size and the pipes and the certificates are all done. So
the utility companies used to do that.
no, the utility companies bring the utility to your home, everything
No,
inside
but
the
so
house.
inspect, if you changed your furnace or that, they had to come and inspect and turn it back on.
If you call them, if you don't call them, they don't. And I don't know exactly.
No, we do.
Yeah, right. It's done. I know that it's done by the building department. I don't know. In Queens, I think they do. Right? In Queens, I think the utility companies
You
come.
have to be state certified to do the inspections,
Right.
so we just wanna make sure everybody's safe and your neighbors are safe.
Right.
It's the most important thing.
Okay. Motion to close.
Second.
Okay. Nobody wants to go home.
So moved.
I. Anybody seconds? Nobody seconds. Okay.